Hello everyone. In today's lecture, in here I'll show you how to install Anaconda in your computer and then how to create Conda environment so that you can manage your Python packages for a particular project. And those who are already aware of how Conda environment works, how to install Anaconda and how to work with or get started with Python, then you can skip this tutorial. But this is geared towards the student who are new to the Conda environment, those who have heard about it but never used themselves, and for those who used Conda but they are not very sure of how different commands work. So they have some overview of Conda, but they have still some confusion how Conda works. So in here I'll show you some utilities of Conda and some of the most used functions in Conda, and then some functions and some commands to show how to work with Conda and Python together. So let's get started. So all you need to do, you first need to come to the page anaconda.com and then basically, so you first get to this page anaconda.com, then from there you hit get started, and once you hit get started you will be prompted to this page. You then click download Anaconda installers, and then you will be prompted for 3 different platforms in which you want to install the Anaconda. And the first one is Windows, then the Mac OS, then the Linux. I'll be showing you the example with Linux, but installing Conda in Mac OS or in Windows will be very similar. So in order to install Anaconda in Linux environment, you first click on this and then it will start downloading the .sh file. And since I have already downloaded this file before, so I'll just cancel this download, and then what I'll do is I'll run that script here. So I'll first go to my downloads folders, and then from there I'll run the bash file there. So all this is saying run this bash file with the command bash. Okay, and this is the file we just downloaded. And then hit enter and it will install Anaconda for you. I already have Anaconda installed in my system, so I'm not going to install it again. So this is all the command that you need to use to install Anaconda in your system. You just hit enter and it will be you will be prompted with some yes and no questions, like do you want to agree with their license agreement and all. So you just hit yes, and then you will be done with installing Anaconda in your computer. Now that you are done with your Anaconda installation, then you need to create a virtual environment in your computer where you want a particular project to be taken care of. So suppose for a robotics course, you want to create a virtual environment called robotics, and all the Python packages and write Python version will be installed in that particular Conda environment. And then you can create another Conda environment or many other Conda environments where you can use those different environments for other projects. In many different Conda environments, you can have the same packages, but different packages may have different versions in different Conda environments, and that is the beauty of Anaconda. So it automatically maintains different versions of the same package in different Anaconda environment. So all we need to do now, we first again go back to the web page, and now we'll get back to this one, managing environments using Anaconda. So go to this page, and then from here you will click the creating an environment with commands. So you click here, and that will take you to this section, creating an environment with commands. The first one is not very interesting. It will just create a Conda environment with the name of the environment myenv, and you just need to run this command, and it will create an environment for you. However, we are more interested in creating a Conda environment where we want a specific version of Python. We also want some other packages to be installed as well. So for that, you scroll down a little bit and get to this line where you see that to create an environment with a specific version of Python and multiple packages. This is the interesting part of creating Conda environment. So you copy this line, and all you need to do, you get to your terminal and paste that here, and then you start editing from here. You first set the Python package to be suppose 3.7, the Python version to be 3.7. Then you change the environment name to suppose robotics, and you also want the Python package, suppose numpy, to be installed, and you also want another package, suppose matplotlib, to be installed in this virtual environment, and then you hit enter. And it will take some time to create the environment for you. Now it's solving the environment. After that, it will start installing the different packages like numpy and matplotlib and right version of Python for your system, for this virtual environment. And then once they solve the environment, you will be prompted with, do you want to proceed? You say yes, type Y and hit enter again, and then you will be prompted with preparing transaction with done, and then it will also say you that verifying transaction is equal to done, and you are done with creating the virtual environment using Anaconda. Now there are two interesting suggestions that are given after creating the environment. The first one is how to activate the environment you just created. So it says to activate the environment, use Conda activate robotics, and Conda activate is the command. So using Conda, you are invoking the Conda environment, and then in that environment you are calling the method activate, and then you are saying in that method which Conda environment you want to activate, which is the robotics in this particular example. So all you need to do now, you just type in that Conda activate. So let me tell you the other part. So the next suggestion is how to deactivate that environment. It's very simple. You just type Conda and then deactivate, and it will take you out from the Conda environment you were in before. So first let me clear the screen and then type Conda activate and the name of the environment you just created, which is robotics. And once you do that, you will see that before the $sign you have the name of the environment here. That means you are inside the virtual environment robotics in Conda environment. Very good so far. Now you can start working with Python. Okay, so in order to invoke the Python, you type Python here. You do not need to do this kind of Python code execution. You can have your own editor and you can run your code here. Just for the quick example how to use Conda environment, I am using Python like this. So you are in a Python environment now, and you can see that we have said that we want Python version to be 3.7, and when you are inside the Python version, you are prompted with the Python version to be 3.7 here. Okay, that's very good. So we are in a Python environment. Next, we'll import to other packages like import numpy as np, and we'll import the other package matplotlib. So for this one, we'll import it in a little bit different way. We'll say that from matplotlib import pyplot as plt. Okay, so once you have imported these two packages, all you need to do, you can create some data using np, and suppose we'll create a few data points for and store it in variable x. You say np dot linspace, create some data point between 0 and np.py, and create 100 points, suppose. Okay, so all the 100 data points is stored in x now. Then you create another variable called y, and you say, okay, for each of the data point in x, I want the sign values for those points. So you say y is equal to np.signx, and probably in another variable called y2, you create another variable called np.cos, and you say pass in the variable x inside the cos method, and you get the values for cos for all the data points in x. So as you can see that we now have three different variables x, y, and y2. You can see their types by printing print type x, and you can see that it is a numpy array, numpy nd array, n dimensional array. Okay, and you can do it for y again. You see the same, you do it same for y2. So all these things are numpy arrays. Okay, now we'll use the matplotlib package to plot the function of, now we'll plot the variable y with respect to x. Okay, so in order to do that, all we need to do, we need to call plt dot plot, and then we call y, we first argument will be x, which will be the x-axis, and then in y-axis we want to plot the values for y, and we get plt.plot x comma y, and hit enter. So that is good. So you will now have the plot for sine with respect to x, and we can have the cos plot as well, and we just need to change y to y2 like that. And in order to visualize the plot, you need to call the plt dot show method, and you can see that the sine plot is here, which at 0 0 x equal to 0 0 value was 0, x value pi, sine value is again 0, x value at pi over 2, you get the sine value as 1. And for the cos plot, which is this one, in here we see that at 0 0 cos value is equal to 1, at cos value pi the value is -1, and at cos value pi over 2 we get the value as 0 here. So we get the right plots. So this is just an overview how to use Conda environment with Python, and this is no way any complicated example. This is just very basic example to get you started. Thank you.